You know something, guys? I was actually planning to do a comical opening for this review. Like, I was gonna be like, check out my Imperial arm, it's so badass, it's the most powerful one in all of existence, you can't beat it. But if I were to really sum up my thoughts about this anime, this picture sums it all up. Right here. Right here. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy, and I'm here today to review the anime Akame got Killed. Now, Akame got Killed follows a young man named Tatsumi who's heading to the Imperial capital in order to get some money for his poor village. But he is very naive about what goes on in the Imperial capital. He thinks he's just gonna go in there, make some money for his village, then go back home. Nope. What actually ends up happening once he arrives is that he can't find a job, he gets swindled out of all of his money by a blonde-haired, big-breasted chick, and he's forced to sleep on the streets. So much for Easy Street, huh? Lucky for him, though, a rich girl just happens to be passing by and from the kindness of her heart invites Tatsumi to stay at her house. And one night while staying at her house, by mere coincidence or even luck, Tatsumi meets Night Raid, a team of assassins whose goal is to clean up the filth in the corrupted Imperial capital. And after discovering the dark and horrifying truth of not only the people that housed him, but the Imperial capital itself, Tatsumi decides to join the ranks of Night Raid in order to rid the kingdom of corruption and create a new and better world. Now, you all have been asking and begging me to watch and review this anime. Maybe not as much as Clanad or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but there was a majority of you that really wanted to know what I thought about this anime. So, knowing me, I was more than happy to oblige. And I gotta say, I finally understand why you guys really wanted me to see this anime. This anime is fantastic! Now, before I begin this review, because I know a lot of you are going to comment about this, I know that the anime heavily deviates from the manga. The manga is still ongoing at this point in time, whereas the anime had a definite ending, also under the supervision of the guy that created the manga. I understand that. But also keep in mind, this is the anime review. I am reviewing this anime solely on its own merits, not comparing it to its manga source material. Keep this in mind. And with that said, now I guess we could go into the reasons why I think that this is a fantastic anime. First off, as always, the animation by White Fox, who is also the same studio that animated Yormagon, which I just reviewed a couple weeks ago, and Steins Gate, was solid in the anime. I love their use of bright colors for like very happy, colorful scenes, and then they use dim colors for the dark and depressing scenes. I love the character designs, they're really solid in this anime, and there are some beautiful shots, especially whenever you see Tatsumi on that hill or mountain, whatever it is, and he's staring, gazing at the stars. My god, that looked beautiful. But where the animation truly shines is in the intense and epic action scenes. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I thoroughly enjoyed every single action scene in this anime. They were intense, thrilling, very fun to watch, and so engaging. I was into the fight, and I wanted our heroes to come out on top and kick some freaking ass. One of the things that made the action scenes interesting and really fun to watch were these items known as Imperial arms that have all these special abilities that were just so interesting to see. Just seeing like one Imperial arm fight another one to see who comes out on top. It was a very interesting type of like chess match. Who has the better piece kind of thing. I can't honestly pick which one would be my favorite Imperial arm. I mean, they're all freaking cool and badass in their own way. There comes a point in the anime, and I'm gonna talk about this in more detail later, where the action just kicks it into high gear, and from that moment on, I was hooked. I was invested into this anime. And now we get to probably one of the most crucial elements to this anime, the story. The story is just as engaging and just as interesting as the action scenes that I mentioned prior. There are so many great and unique elements in this anime story, and the story truly takes you for one hell of a ride. I mean, when I first started watching this anime, I thought to myself, oh yeah, it's like the typical shonen action anime where the heroes are always coming out on top and they're going on these various missions, kicking ass and taking names. It's all good times. Then episode 6 happened and everything changed. Remember how I mentioned earlier about there was a point in the anime where I just got hooked from then on? That was episode 6. Not only was the action just high octane from beginning to end, but my god, what happens in episode 6? I was completely shocked by what I saw, both in the good way and the sad way. I did not see this coming whatsoever. This is the first anime that I've seen since Gurren Lagann that actually had the guts to kill off one of the main characters and keep them dead. There's no resurrection in this world. They even make mention to that in one episode where you cannot bring somebody back from the dead. And I was sitting there like, I thought this was like your typical shonen action anime where the main characters fight and they get mortally wounded, but they survive. Nope, that is not this anime. No one, and I truly mean this, no one was safe in this anime. Whether you were a hero, a villain, or just a bystander watching the action unfolding, you have a 50-50 chance that you're probably going to die in this episode. I mean, they pulled some Game of Thrones shit with this anime, killing off characters that I really liked. I was just like, no, I really like that person. Oh my god, I have to deal with this in anime now? I thought I only had to deal with this in Game of Thrones, but nope. Now anime's not safe. Each death had relevance and each death had weight to them. And they didn't just shove them off like, oh, they're dead now, we forget about them. No, they constantly remember and talk about the people that have died in previous episodes. They still have an impact on the characters, and I love seeing that. It really helps to make you feel like the characters actually meant something to other characters and weren't just there to die or something. But yeah, guys, the deaths in this anime, they really got to me. I was impacted by the deaths because I really cared about these characters. And not only the heroes, but also their enemies. And I'll get into that a little bit later. And I carried them on my shoulders as much as the characters in the anime carried it on their shoulders. I felt their pain as well. But what really broke my heart is the fact that the first 2 characters to die were actually my favorite characters in the series at that point. And I was just like, oh my god, no, I was just beginning to like them. Why are you gonna Game of Thrones me right now? You know, I'm beginning to think that the creator of this manga drew a lot of influence from Game of Thrones because I see a lot of similarities between the two. The unique storytelling, the deaths of major characters, and political corruption. I mean, just throw in incest, which a lot of animes are known for, and there you go, you got Game of Thrones, the anime version. Moving on from death, there are also other unique story elements that I truly appreciated seeing in this anime. Like the fact that we actually get to see the enemy's perspective of the heroes. I mean, you don't see that a lot in anime. Mostly you just follow the main characters, the heroes of the show, and what they think about the situation. But you also get to see it from the enemy's point of view. That was interesting. I was like, holy shit, I've not seen this in an anime before, where we get both sides of a story. Sure, the enemy's perspective may be malicious or even naive, but at least we get to see it. And in my honest opinion, I thought the endgame scenario for the anime story was solid. I know a lot of people had problems with the ending to this anime because the manga still continues, so it's not really the true ending. But for me, it gave me closure. That's exactly what I wanted to see. I did not want to see them say, oh, we'll live to fight another day and we'll definitely take down the king then. I didn't want it to end like that. I wanted to end on a satisfying note. And for me, it ended on a satisfying note. And the last thing that I truly loved about this anime, and I think this is my favorite element to the anime, and that is its characters. My god, most of the characters in this anime are just freaking awesome. Many of them have great development, especially our main hero Tatsumi. I mean, he starts off as this naive kid who thinks he's gonna strike gold in the city, but ends up finding out that it's really cruel and unjust, and he starts to fight for the noble cause and grows as a man. I loved seeing that. And I loved all the supporting characters behind him. I mean, you got Akame, she's really badass, but also deeply cares about her team. You got Mai, the pink-haired tsundere of the anime, but she also goes through quite the development, and her backstory is really well done. You got Bulot, I hope I'm saying his name right, but he's the muscle-bound hunk who just looks freaking gorgeous. I mean, look at this guy. Not only does he have a fantastic body though, but he also has a great personality and deeply cares about other people. That's why he joined Night Raid. And I really felt a strong sense of camaraderie and kinship between every single member of Night Raid. They each are willing to sacrifice their own life to protect everyone else. I mean, they're just a really, really strong team. But the most shocking part, and the one that I kind of talked about earlier, is that not only are our heroes very well defined and well developed, but also some of our enemies. I mean, you really get a deep understanding about these characters, and some of them are very interesting and likable. The most likable out of all of them was Wave, who's kind of like Tatsumi, but he's on the other side of the spectrum. I really like this guy. Like, you actually get to follow him, you get to hear his inner monologue. He basically is the second main character in a sense. And I loved when he like meets his team. It starts off kind of weird, and they develop this team too. I got a strong sense of camaraderie and kingship from them. I mean, this anime makes you really relate and empathize with almost every character, whether they're good or bad. I mean, yes, some of the bad characters, they're just inherently bad, and there's no justification. Like, there's this one girl, like, this girl's sadistic as fuck, and I hated her, like, straight up. No matter how much development they gave her, straight up hated her. And what she did, unforgivable. Just unforgivable. But you're supposed to hate this girl, so I can't blame the writers for making a despicable character. That was the point. But even though I hated her, she was also given a lot of development, and you get an understanding of the character. Are you going to agree with it? Hell no. But at least they attempted to make you understand. But that is not the same case with probably the most badass character in the entire anime, General S-Death. I think that's how you pronounce her name. But this girl, holy shit, talk about an ice queen. You think Elsa was the ice queen? This is the ice queen. Elsa ain't got nothing on her. My god, when this woman puts her mind to something, she is an uncompromising and unstoppable force. I would never ever want to be her enemy. I would never want to be in her bad side ever. And they could have just kept her as the really badass antagonist that the main characters have to face, and she would serve her purpose very well. But they also go out of their way to actually develop this character, and we get an understanding about the way she ticks, her mentality. And when they actually delve into her backstory, it makes a whole lot of sense why she's so uncompromising and why she acts as an unstoppable force. The whole philosophy of how she was raised, that's a very interesting philosophy, and actually, my dad has a very similar philosophy as well. It made this character not only more fleshed out, but even more interesting than she already was, and she was already an interesting character by her badassery alone. And honestly, I can't even think of a major problem that I had with this anime that ruined either the experience or the story. I had a few irritations here and there, but that's really it. The first irritation that I had is that whenever one of the members of Night Raid would die, it would automatically start to rain. And I'm not kidding. Besides two moments that I could clearly think of, whenever a member of Night Raid died, it began to rain. Come on, just stop with the whole cliche it's raining to symbolize how sad everybody is. You don't need to do that. We're already sad. The second and last irritation that I have with this anime is that there is a romance in this anime that I just wasn't a fan of. I mean, they kind of set it up, and it was kind of obvious that they were gonna head down this road. I just didn't like the romance. I just didn't really buy it, and I just didn't want to see it. It was way too obvious, and I was like, god damn it, in an anime that wasn't trying to follow trends and follow the cliches, this was the one element that I found the most cliche. I was like, why did we have to do this? It's just unnecessary. It was just unnecessary in my opinion. Overall, Akame ga Kill was just great. It's a fantastic anime, and I enjoyed it from beginning to end. And I think you all know what I'm gonna give this anime. A 5 out of 5 stars. It is truly an epic masterpiece that entertained me throughout, and I highly recommend you guys go check it out. But anyway, what did you guys think of this anime? Did you love it as much as I did? Did you just really enjoy it? Or did you find it really boring and you hated how it was unfaithful to the manga? And let me know, what was a death in an anime or a movie that just took you completely by surprise? Comment below and let me know. And stay tuned tonight at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Clashing Heads for our first ever media warfare with special guest Lutunes. It's gonna be an epic throwdown, the likes of which you have never seen before. So go check it out, subscribe to that channel, and as always, if you would like to see more epic videos here on the Black Critic Guy channel, or if you'd like to be a part of the Black Critic crew, hit that subscribe button below, like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm Tony Watt II, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace YouTube!
No.